In the sterile glow of his penthouse office, Alexander Kane shattered. The email from his private investigator burned into his retinas like acid. Grainy photos of Elena, his wife of 12 years, tangled in the sheets of a Paris hotel with a faceless rival from the boardroom. Betrayal sliced through him, not with the clean cut of a knife, but the jagged rip of 1,000 unspoken promises. His empire, built on steel and silence, crumbled in that instant, leaving him hollow, a king dethroned by the one heart he thought unbreakable. Gasping, fists clenched around the phone until it cracked, Alex stumbled to the floor, the city skyline mocking him through floor-to-ceiling glass. Why? He whispered to the empty air, but the void offered no mercy. Tears, foreign and furious, carved paths down his stubbled cheeks. He couldn't stay here, in this cage of glass and greed. Grabbing his keys, he fled into the night, the engine of his Bentley roaring like the storm in his soul, racing toward the one sanctuary he still believed in, home. But what he found there would unravel him further, before it began to mend the fractures. Alex's tires screeched against the gravel drive of the sprawling estate, the grand columns of the mansion looming like judgmental sentinels under the moon's indifferent gaze. It was past midnight, the house dark save for a single lamp flickering in the nursery window, a beacon he hadn't noticed in months, buried as he was in mergers and midnight calls. His chest heaved, the betrayal replaying in loops. Elena's laughter in those photos, freer than he'd ever seen it with him. It can't be real, he told himself, slamming the car door with a force that echoed his denial. Asterisk, she's just confused. We'll talk. Fix it. Like always. Asterisk, but the lie tasted bitter, fueling the fire in his veins as he burst through the front door, coat unbuttoned, shoes tracking mud across Persian rugs. The foyer swallowed him in silence, broken only by the distant hum of the grandfather clock, tick-tock, a metronome to his unraveling. Elena. His voice cracked, raw from unshed screams. No answer. He stormed the halls, past the gallery of their wedding photos, her smile now a taunt. Asterisk, deny it, Alex. Deny the end. Asterisk up the stairs, two at a time, his breath ragged, until he reached the nursery door. It was ajar, spilling warm light like an invitation he didn't want. There, in the rocking chair by the window, sat Maria, their maid, her dark skin glowing under the lamp's halo, her braided hair framing a face etched with quiet endurance. In her arms, cradled like a fragile secret, was little Theo, his 5-year-old son, curls matted from sleep, tiny chest rising and falling in perfect rhythm. Theo's thumb was tucked in his mouth, a habit Alex had long scolded out of him during their rare, stiff visits. Maria hummed softly, an old lullaby in Spanish. Asterisk dormit, mi niño asterisk, her voice a gentle current against the storm outside. She didn't startle at his entrance. Her eyes, deep brown pools of unspoken knowing, lifted to meet his. Mr. Kane, she murmured, not a question, but an anchor. He wouldn't settle tonight. Said he missed his mama's stories. The sight hit Alex like a freight train. Not the betrayal's echo, but this, his son, vulnerable and trusting, in the arms of a woman who'd been invisible to him for years. Maria, hired 5 years ago when Elena's fatigue from Theo's birth turned into endless spa retreats. She's just the help, his mind snarled in denial, the old hierarchies rising like bile. But pain clawed deeper. Theo's small form, so like Elena's in repose, yet clinging to Maria as if she were the world. Where's my wife? Alex demanded, voice a whip crack, though it trembled at the edges. He stepped closer, looming, his shadow eclipsing the chair. Maria didn't flinch. She shifted Theo gently, her calloused hands, hands that scrubbed floors and folded laundry with the same care, stroking his back. Mrs. Kane, she's out. Again. Said it was a late meeting. Her tone held no accusation, only the weight of truths too heavy for one soul. Alex's fists balled, denial fractured. Asterisk out. Always out. Asterisk he turned away, pacing the room like a caged lion, the pain blooming into something visceral, an ache in his ribs, as if his heart were literally breaking. Put him down, he growled, not at her, but at the unfairness of it all. He's my son, and mine, in the ways that matter tonight. Maria replied softly, her voice threading through his rage like cool silk. She rose then, impossibly graceful, and laid Theo in the crib, tucking the blanket with fingers that lingered, a mother's touch, unearned yet undeniable. As she straightened, her eyes locked on his, and for the first time, Alex saw her not as the maid, but as a woman who'd weathered her own storms. "Sit, Mr. Kane, before you break something you can't fix." He collapsed into the chair, the wood creaking under his defeat. The pain surged then, unbidden, a sob wrenching from his throat, hot tears spilling as the dam burst. Asterisk betrayed. Abandoned. Father to a ghost. Asterisk, she left me, Maria. With him. With everything. The words tumbled out, fragmented confessions in the nursery's hush. Denial ebbed, leaving raw agony. Memories of Elena's cold distance, Theo's birthday forgotten amid boardroom battles, his own hands too stained with ambition to hold his boy. Maria knelt before him, not subservient, but equal in her quiet strength. A stranger no more, but a mirror to his fractures. Pain like this, it don't come from one cut. It's all the little ones before. She placed a hand on his knee, warm and steady. I lost my own boy 5 years back. Drowned in the river back home in Jamaica. I came here to forget, but forgetting ain't healing. It's Theo who taught me that. His questions, his hugs, they pull you back from the edge. Alex stared, the story piercing his self-pity. Her loss, hidden behind pressed uniforms and silent service. How do you bear it? His voice was a whisper, the pain shifting, no longer solitary. One breath at a time, she said, rising. And by seeing what's still here. She nodded to the crib, where Theo stirred, murmuring in sleep. A small victory. The boy's hand reached out, as if sensing his father's turmoil. Alex leaned over, fingers brushing Theo's cheek, soft, alive. The touch ignited a spark, faint but real, amid the wreckage. As dawn crept in, painting the room in hesitant gold, Alex lingered, the pain a tide now ebbing, revealing the shores of what might remain. Maria slipped away, leaving him with the boy and the beginnings of questions he couldn't yet answer. Denial had cracked. Pain had carved space for something softer. But the journey was far from over. Days blurred into a haze after that night. The mansion a labyrinth of echoes. Elena's perfume lingering in drawers. Theo's laughter a rare sunlight piercing the gloom. Alex had fired off a terse email to his lawyers, the divorce papers drafted in the cold efficiency of legalese, but the final signature eluded him. Reflection had settled in his bones like autumn fog, thick and unyielding, forcing him to confront the man in the mirror, hollow-eyed, suits rumpled, a billionaire bankrupt of soul. Was I ever enough? The question haunted his solitary breakfasts, staring at the empty chair where Elena once sat, dissecting their marriage like a failed acquisition. He'd chased empires while she chased escapes. He'd built walls of wealth, forgetting the home they guarded. Theo became his unwitting compass. Mornings now found Alex in the kitchen, fumbling with pancakes, burnt edges a testament to his novice hands, while the boy watched with wide, curious eyes. "Daddy, why's your face sad like the rain?" Theo asked one dawn, syrup-sticky fingers tracing Alex's jaw. The innocence pierced him, a reflection of his own buried child self, lost to boardrooms and betrayals. "Because grown-ups sometimes forget how to play," Alex admitted, voice thick. He scooped Theo up, the boy's giggles a balm, small victory in the reclaiming of touch. Maria observed from the periphery, her presence no longer shadow but steady light. She'd taken to joining them, not as servant, but storyteller, spinning tales of Jamaican folklore over coffee, her accent weaving magic into the mundane. One afternoon, as rain lashed the windows, they gathered in the library, Theo cross-legged on the rug with a forgotten toy train. "Tell us about the river spirit," the boy pleaded, and Maria obliged, her voice dropping to a hush. Anansi the spider, clever but lonely, tricked the spirits to save his family. But true wisdom? It come from listening, not scheming. Alex leaned back, the words sinking in like roots. Reflection deepened. His life, a web of schemes, hostile takeovers, whispered alliances, yet solitude had been his prize. "I schemed my way to the top," he confessed later, as Theo napped nearby, the patter of rain a confessional veil. Maria nodded, folding linens with rhythmic precision. "And what did it buy you, Mr. Kane? Except this ache? Wisdom, maybe." Too late. He rubbed his temples, the pain from that first night now a dull throb, companion rather than conqueror. But her gaze held no pity, only challenge. Never too late. My mama used to say, roots grow deep in cracked soil. You got cracks now, use 'em to let the light in. She shared then, unprompted, fragments of her trauma. Fleeing poverty in Kingston, the boat ride to America fraught with storms, the gut wrench of burying her son under a sky too blue for grief. I denied it first, cleaned houses till my hands bled, thinking work would wash it away. Then the pain came, nights screaming into pillows. But reflection? That's when I saw. He lives in the stories I tell, in the way I hold this little one like he's my own heartbeat. Her words sparked a realization, warm as heath fire. Alex saw parallels, his betrayal a death of sorts, Elena's absence the grave. Yet here was Theo, demanding presence, and Maria, a mentor in maid's guise, offering wisdom wrapped in warmth. Teach me, he said, the plea humble, a small victory in surrender. How to be enough. Evenings unfolded slowly, walks in the sodden gardens, where Theo splashed puddles and Alex pondered aloud. I failed him, Maria. Pushed too hard, loved too little. She walked beside, her stride matching his, no deference now. Failure ain't the end, it's the map. Look at strangers, too. That vendor at the market last week? Lost his shop to fire, but he smiled, shared his last mango. Pain polishes the soul, he said. Warmth like that? It reminds us we're not alone. Interactions bloomed. A park bench chat with an elderly jogger, widowed and wise, who quipped, kids don't need fortunes, just fathers who stay. Theo's school play, a lopsided lion costume, drew tears as Alex clapped loudest, the applause echoing his growing heart. Reflection yielded growth. Therapy sessions booked, not as weakness but reclamation. Board meetings delegated, time carved for bedtime tales. One twilight, as fireflies danced in the yard, Theo asleep in Alex's arms. Asterisk his asterisk arms. Earned through presence. Maria joined them on the porch. You've grown roots, Mr. Kane. Strong ones. He met her eyes, gratitude swelling. Call me Alex. And thank you for seeing me when I couldn't. The truth of that night, the unannounced rush, melted fully now. Not just the scene of son in her arms, but the unspoken bond that had sustained them in his absence. Healing wasn't erasure, but integration, the pain a scar, beautiful in its story. In that quiet, Alex felt renewal stir, self-acceptance in the laughter lines etching his face, emotional peace in the rhythm of Theo's breath, a future not conquered but cherished. The journey, with its struggles and victories, had remade him, not unbreakable, but beautifully bendable. A message of renewal. In the quiet aftermath of shattered vows and mended hearts, remember this. Healing is not the absence of scars, but the courage to trace them with gentle fingers, turning wounds into wisdom. Embrace the mess of your becoming. You are worthy of the love you extend to others, and in that self-compassion lies the true fortune of the soul. Rise renewed, for every ending whispers the promise of a gentler dawn. Moral of the story. True strength blooms not from invincibility, but from the vulnerable grace of allowing others to hold your broken pieces, reminding us that healing is a shared light, illuminating the hidden bonds that mend what ambition alone cannot.